Guys, I'm pissed. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Been dealing with a bunch of illegal aliens all day long, and they're so lucky to have restraint because I came as close to as I ever have of killing someone today. We'll see how that goes. The day's not over yet. We're going to run 2 lives tonight. Look, guys, everybody knows because I've been busy. When X flared today, James Kaufman, World News Report today. Today is February 23rd, 2025. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Ladies and gentlemen, a man can only take so much, and when you push him into a corner, he's going to fight back, right? We're animals. And let me just say that I've had a very long day, but we're going to go live right now, try to weed through it. I'm ready to get rid of all these illegal aliens, and I'm about to have to go do it myself. If fucking Tom Homan can't do shit, right? I've had it. Tired of them beating up the white and black kids at the school. I'm tired of them doing everything they're doing. Everything. Bunch of little gang members. Put a gang on me. Put a gang on me. See how many will last. I'll kill. Excuse me. I will solve the problem in a minute or two. I've had so much, way too much, of illegal aliens, and they think they run the United States of America, but I don't. I know they don't run shit. I'm gonna make them pay, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make them pay big. So we've had an X flare. See if we can get anybody live. Hey, we got some views. See if we get anybody live. If anyone can tell me we're live, we'll keep going. Obviously, we've had an X. Look, 2.03. Now, was it directly Earth facing? X2 4001. 4001. Alright. I appreciate y'all. I'm very mad. I almost, for the first time in my whole life, pulled my gun out. I've never thought I would brandish a gun. I'm fine. Everyone's fine. But I got in a situation, bunch of illegal aliens. Illegal aliens. I'm so tired that Montgomery County, Texas is allowing this to happen. So freaking tired of it. Nothing but trash. Right? And they're letting it happen, I guess. I don't know, but I'll be, with a federal judge tomorrow on my accord to discuss it with him and try to take the, if I have to go up to the sheriff, I'm going to go up to the sheriff, okay? I've had enough. Enough. All right, 4001, guys. That's all the way over here on the far limb. Northern hemisphere should not be geo-effective towards Earth whatsoever. Look at all the new sunspots. 4006, 4003, 4005. They're all simple. 4004. They're all simple right now. Alpha or beta. We have a delta sunspot, 4000 here. a beta gamma sunspot right here, $39.98, right? I mean, Uber, come pick me up. I'll hit the bar, right? I'm not going to do that for you guys. Look, we have another big, huge inbound rock, if you want to know the truth, okay? It's huge. It's a city killer, kind of like the car that... Why is Newsweek, JPL, and NASA always so late? Why am I always first? I'm so tired of being first, too. So, we have a huge rock inbound, and I believe the close approach is on the 24th, 25th. We'll check it out. Look at the inclination. The rocks could be around 100 feet in diameter, moving very swiftly, right? Moving very swiftly. Only you guys are going to see this because I'm not going to do another video. I'm so mad right now. Alright, so what do we have? 2 days of observation. First spotted on the 21st. They told you about it as soon as I did. Because I always tell you about everything first, right? Everything. Condition code 6. Our AI software caught it, right? AI software caught it. I'm mad. I almost shot somebody and killed him today, okay? That's where we're at right now. It's going to get so bad out there. And I was doing nothing but trying to have a bite to eat. I'm the only one that seems to be armed in the world. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But you know what? We did a citizen's arrest on this particular individual at one of my steakhouses, and I was the only one holding a gun to his forehead. And let me tell you, my hand was trembling, and I wanted to shoot him so bad. I'm just not gonna lie to you. I wanted to shoot him so bad, but everyone was saved. Everyone was saved. You're welcome, all you lazy pieces of shit at that steakhouse tonight. Y'all are welcome that one person had the balls to stand up. One person. Now, I got help from the men, not gentlemen, the men. As soon as I had him, pretty much either I was going to kill him or he's going to back down type deal. And I wasn't even associated with the deal. I wasn't even involved with the confrontation. But you think I'm going to let an illegal Mexican come into a restaurant and tear it up like that? Shit. You got another thing coming. I'm not arrested. My first time to ever brandish my handgun. I'm embarrassed that I had to do it. But, you know how close my finger's totally on the trigger. Not where it's supposed to be, on the lower slide. I've never been this angry at some person in my whole life. And I thought it'd be better if I just ended their life. That's what a piece of shit they were, okay? That's what a piece of shit they were. But God helped me through it. Instead, we had him arrested, right? Isn't this weird? Look at this. 2 approaches towards the moon. Not 1, but 2. Now that's really, really weird. Never seen that before in my life. And look how close we're coming to Earth. 0.0002. So this is going to be a really close skim. And this is a city killer, state killer, whatever you want to call it. It's only moving at 10 kilometers per second, but it's a huge rock, probably about 150 foot in diameter. What's his name? I will do. Let's see when the close approach is. 25th, 6th. So tomorrow when I get time and I calm down a little bit, I will do a close approach video on this. You know what? You know what I like the most is the men in the restaurant. I was trying to have some steak and lobster, man. And someone came in there, thought he was going to rob the place I was eating at. Now, no one was equipped, right? Well, I put him dead to sights. I was going to cap him right there, right? Cap, bye Felicia. But luckily, as soon as I had him hold his hands up, the men tackled him, and I was able to reholster my pistol. This has never happened to me before. It just tells you how bad it's about to get, okay? The sheriff's department was there in about a minute, and they asked me what happened. I said, well, this gentleman came in asking for wallets, and I put him, I almost introduced him to Jesus, is what I told him. And trust me, my hand was shaking so much, it's still shaking so much. He almost met his maker tonight. I don't know if anyone knows what that means or how serious that is, but that motherfucker almost met his maker tonight, and he would have deserved every bit of it. And there are a bunch of cowboys out there that tackled him. But you know what? Without me, and I probably should have shot that. Can I use the word spick? Is that too bad too? Why are they always from Mexico? We've been taught they're from Central America and El Salvador and Venezuela, but 99.9% of them are all from Mexico. I mean, let's just get that straight, right? Get it straight. So this is a really close shave. We're doing on the 26th. Look at that, 0.0002. It's going to be 100,000 miles from the center of Earth. And I'm still shaking. You know, I don't want to ever have to take someone's life. You know? There was no good to be had there. And you know what? I was just eating my dinner at the bar, and I couldn't believe that I'm the only armed motherfucker there. That's what I really can't believe, okay? I really can't believe that. Now, I will say all the football players and young men, after I put him in the crosshairs and his hands went up, and I was yelling at the top of my fucking lungs. They tackled him, and I put my gun back in my holster, and then they took care of the rest of it. I mean, I almost had a heart attack. You got that intense. This should just show you, as this mass deportation shit occurs, even in the best neighborhoods in the world, it's going to happen to you. Are you prepared? Out of the 190 people in the the steakhouse, I was the only motherfucker prepared. And you know what? He would have kept going until I put that gun on him. Right? That gun on him. Only thing that stopped him. And I probably should have shot him 8 times. And then of course, I wouldn't have been able to go live tonight because I would be being interrogated by the FBI and the Sheriff's Department for why I shot some man that took 6 wallets from people, right? I've had enough. Tom Homan. I've had enough. You know, Texas took on about 90% of all the illegal aliens. I have had enough. If y'all push me just a little bit harder, which I know y'all are going to do, I'm going to fuck you up, okay? I'm going to fuck you up. Yes, a knife. A knife. Remember, George, never bring a knife to a gunfight. If I didn't have my pistol on me, all the women were women, not the men. They felt like failures. They were total failures. I was so pissed off. All the women came up and hugged me. Say, God bless you, you saved our lives. There's knives all over a steakhouse. I think he brought his own because it was a big motherfucker, okay? But, if y'all aren't carrying a gun, y'all are fools. Fools. Right? Yeah. Taking wallets with a big old butcher knife looking thing. And I had to stand up, draw, and say, and I speak Spanish, so I told him, muerto, aquí, motherfucker. And that means I'm about to kill your fucking ass. And he dropped that fucking knife quicker than any tomorrow. And I've never ever drawn my weapon. I'm 57 years old. I should not be drawing my weapon. I'm going into town tomorrow to speak to the Sheriff's Department. They didn't want me in there because I'm about to expose them for all the illegal aliens they're allowing to live in our zip codes. That's the real problem, right? That's the real problem. We've had naked Hispanics run through HEB, my grocery store. We're having these robberies at Macy's and everything else up at the mall. I just can't believe out of a restaurant of 150 people, they're just handing over their wallets. They look like little fucking fools. Let me tell you, I think I'm still shaking really hard. But, you know what? When that motherfucker saw that 9mm pointed at him, I think he woke up from whatever drugs or stupor he was on. And you know what? One step towards me, it would have been by Felicia. That's what it was going to be. I'd already made a decision. I almost killed him anyway, just so you know. But that would have meant, now the police did interview me. I'm allowed to carry. Luckily I was eating steak and shrimp and not just drinking. That was a big plus, by the way. Since I was eating, there was a huge plus. And everyone else, well, I was far enough down the bar, everyone else just, it's like they had no idea this could happen here. Not in the Woodlands. This can't happen in the Woodlands, can it? And look at their faces. Now, I will say, all the youngsters, after he dropped the knife and I put the gun on him, they tackled him and they took care of the rest. I reholstered my gun, and you know what? I knew the police were coming. I went back to eating my steak. I'm not kidding. And I'm still shaking. But I told y'all this would happen. I just didn't think it would happen to me. Not to me, right? And you know what? Again, I live in the Woodlands, Texas. I thought every man had a gun on him. I guess no one's got a gun on him but me? I mean, what the fuck's going on, right? We have a First Amendment right, or Second Amendment right to carry, and I'm the only one that carries? And I have a license to carry too. I would never fuck with the state or federal officials. So, yeah, they viewed me for about 20 minutes. I kept eating the whole time too, because I wanted to eat. Plus, it helped. I was shaking so hard, it helped me stop my shake, right? I guess enough said. Could there ever be enough said? Could there ever be enough said? My favorite steakhouse that I go to 3 nights a week. Maybe they should give me a fucking award or something, right? Men were just throwing their wallets out. And I don't blame them, right? Some crazed lunatic, you have no idea what he's capable of. And one person, and let me just say, when I look all back at it, I did not have the gun on me that I wish I did. Right? I'm just saying, I had that little Beretta Bobcat on me. That's what I put up on him. I guess we're about 40 yards, 40 feet. It's hard to say. Well, when he finally dropped the knife, I said, drop that fucking knife or you're a dead motherfucker, you spick. If you want my exact words, those are my exact words. And then I spoke some Spanish to him that were even more horrific. Anyway, still shaking, what? An hour ago, completely ridiculous. Learn from it. What do you want me to learn from it? Yeah. What do you want me to learn from it? Lisa, you want me to just kick you off my channel or what? Is that gonna learn you up? All right, Gordon Clark, but Woodlands isn't really tough. It's not. It's the opposite. These men were throwing their wallets out like that. They had no more tomorrow, right? Because they didn't. And you know what I thought is, hey, what if it wasn't a big old butcher knife you got at Walmart? What if it was just a knife from the restaurant? That could have been just as viable. I mean, just as terrible, right? It's like Germany. It's like France. We cannot let this become Germany or France. The only reason this has not become Germany or France thus far is because people like me carry weapons. Period. Alright, let's keep going if we can. Good times. Alright. FBI, DOD, and State Department decided that they could not put, it gave them 3-4 days to put what they did last week in a single note card, but they didn't do shit. So they've pushed back Elon's deadline, which I think is insanity. Here's the deadline right here. Message from the U.S. Office of Personnel Management. It's kind of like the restaurant tonight, right? boy, they better give me a fucking free meal when I'm in there next time, right? They better. And you're right. By the time the police get there, the game's over. And you know the beauty of the whole deal? They didn't have a gun. If they would have had a gun, I would have been afraid at some level because I only had a Bobcat on me. I didn't have my 6.3, 6.5 XL on me. Didn't have the regular guns that I carry out. I'm going to start carrying bigger and badder, okay? That's all you can do. What if they would have had a gun? Then what? We had a gunfight? This shouldn't be the Old West because we got a bunch of fucking Mexicans that are here illegally. And y'all said they're not Mexicans. 99.9% of all of them are from Mexico. Everyone says they're from Venezuela. They're from El Salvador. They're from this, that, and the other. Go look at the protests. They're carrying the Mexican flag, not the Venezuelan flag. I want to know what people that worked last week and got paid $174,000 a year, they can't give me a fucking list of shit they did last week. That's what I want to know. Just like Elon does. Just like Elon. I thought that was a reasonable request. But instead, the FBI, DOD, State Department, they all pushed it back 2 weeks. So what do you want to make up? How long does it take for me, if my boss told me to put down what I did last week, I would have filled that card up, right? I would have filled that card up, and so would all you guys. I know y'all would have. But these people were so worried about putting down what they did last week, and they claimed everything from, you know what? They claimed everything from, right to know, all the clearances, all the bullshit, when you damn well know they didn't do shit. And let me tell y'all, I told y'all last night this was going to happen. I just didn't think it was going to happen to me. I won't lie to you. Now what's the deal? Anywhere you go out right now, you should be ready for hell. You should be ready for hell. You know why? Because if they think they're going to be deported, even if they're not even a criminal, they're going nuts. They're going completely nuts, okay? Completely nuts. A lot of the people who deported this week had been here for 13 years. I think, Tom Homan, me and him are going to have a talk tonight. Tonight, once I'm done with this shit. Once my heart stops beating at 190 beats a minute. You know what? It's just going to get worse. One of you guys is going to get caught up in this, and y'all going to tell me some sad story. And I'm supposed to feel bad for you, right? Am I? Am I going to feel bad for you? I doubt it.
You believe that background checks for firearm purchases are constitutional?
I don't know the index of it, but I think that's what the Supreme Court has said, Senator.
So the word would be YES. Yes. Can you say yes? Are background checks constitutional?
I can say whatever the Constitution and the Supreme Court ruled is the rule of the land.
And what is the rule, the law of the land at the moment?
I'm not an expert on state-by-state background checks.
Do you believe civilian ownership of machine guns is protected by the Second Amendment?
Whatever the courts rule in regards to the Second Amendment is what is protected by the Second Amendment.
I raise these questions because of an association I can observe between Mr. Patel and gun owners of America, a group staunchly opposed to firearm...
I'm sober right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's my first drink right here. So, and I haven't even started yet. But you know what? I already know the laws. I don't need them from some pissant. And you know what, Crystal Michael? Let's go to your channel. Let's go to your channel. What are you, afraid of being deported? God, they've switched this up too. Afraid of being deported? I'm sure. I'm sure you are. Well, you've done 2,700 videos and you have 236 subscribers? Crystal, you must be doing something really wrong, right? I'm going to help you along in life. I'm going to help you. Hey, sweetie, I'm going to help you along in life. First off, I didn't shoot anyone. And second off, the sheriff's department, trust me, they looked exactly what I was doing. If I drank, they looked at everything. But you know what? You're a piece of trash. I know you're a suburban white female that thinks she's some kind of whatever. But you know what? You need to go bye, Felicia. Bye, sweetie. I hope you enjoy the show. I mean, at least you got a little bit of it. Now I'm just getting pissed off. They give me an option to open them all back up. You want me to be used so bad, don't you? Hold on. Hold on, guys. There. Now we're back. So, we know we had the X 2.1 flare, guys. We know that I've been not really in a confrontation because I'm not shot, cut, or anything else. I can't believe that no one at the steakhouse has a gun on but me. It's sad. X2 peaked at 1927. And then I showed you all the Big Rock inbound for the 26th. Now, we'll listen to Cash Patel. We'll go from there. Big Rock inbound. I'll do a separate video about that. So, what happened this week, and a lot of people don't know what happened this week. They took their Section 8s, their food stamps, and all their Social Security away. So things have changed now. I tried to tell y'all what they did. The federal government took all of that away from everyone. So y'all be careful, man. Y'all be careful. Love you, Sam.
You believe that background checks for firearm purchases are constitutional?
I don't know the in-depth of it, but I think that's what the Supreme Court said, Senator.
So the word would be YES. Yes. Can you say yes? Are background checks constitutional?
I can say whatever the Constitution and the Supreme Court ruled is the rule of the land.
And what is the law of the land at the moment?
I'm not an expert on state-by-state background
Do
checks.
you believe civilian ownership of machine guns is protected by the Second Amendment?
Whatever the court...
I believe it should be. I know you need a tax stamp to do it, but I believe that you should have a machine gun.
rule in regards to the Second Amendment is what is protected by the Second Amendment.
I raise these questions because of an association I can observe between Mr. Patel and Gun Owners of America, a group staunchly opposed to firearm regulation. Mr. Patel, let me remind you that as FBI director, you would
I wonder what list he's on, right? It's just going to get worse. Every time I look into this government, especially Congress, it just gets worse. More billions of U.S. tax dollars found missing in where? The Clinton situation. The Clintons. God, you gotta love that family, right? You gotta love the Clintons. This is Haiti. They found billions more missing after the Clintons were the ones to quote unquote take care, and they took care of it all right. Took care of it. And Chelsea, remember her $10 million house? What has Chelsea Clinton ever done to have a $10 million house? F that. Alright. Zelensky has decided to resign. This is going quickly. You know why? You know why he's decided to resign? Who's that right there? Who is that? Is that? Well, let me tell y'all. He's first on the U.S. hit list, and they'll make it look like it was Russia if he didn't resign. So now Zelensky, instead of wanting to play tough guy, wind up at my steakhouse. Now he's decided to resign. Well, then the war's over. Everyone only hates you, right? We got our minerals. Russia got their minerals. Sorry. You got played by the U.S. as so many other pieces of trash like you do. Now, I'm wondering, will you end up with the $10 million houses that you stole on U.S. taxpayers' dollars? The one in Miami? Or Palm Beach, excuse me. The one in Switzerland? The one in Germany? You get to keep the houses too? Tell me how that works. Can you? Alright. I think we just saw Cash. Alright. Can y'all say hooker? I mean, that's just, I'm so tired of this crap. You know, I was 42 years old, a multi-millionaire, and all of a sudden, I'm dating 9 girls. 9 of them are better than the one that ends up getting pregnant. But you know what? Let me say this. I would never have it any other way that I didn't have Caitlin, okay? Never have it any other way that I didn't have Caitlin. She's my world. Everything I do is for Caitlin. And let me just say, I'm still shaking. This intentionally got pregnant at what, 39, just like mine, 39. How do you take your pill till you're 39, and then when you see money, all of a sudden, I mean, what are you doing? Putting it in bags and keep putting it in there until it happens? I'm so tired of Ashley St. Snare, James. Laura Loomer goes scorched earth on Musk's baby. Right? And I'm not going to really go into this much, but everyone knows a 39-year-old that's never had a child just doesn't end up pregnant on accident. It's all intentional. It's seduction, and then it's intentional pregnancy after money. Money. And if that's your greatest superpower, well, then I guess, well, That's what you do. Guess what? Oh, God. There is a God. Joy Bear's show got canceled today. I already know it's canceled before this media leak. I just want to say, ha ha! Can we all say it together? Ha ha! You are the most. Look at her teeth. I mean, if you make $30 million a year, which is she was making, can you not fix your teeth? Can you not fix your teeth? It just takes braces. You put them behind your teeth. You're nothing but a street hoe. Street hoe. Okay? I know. So look, those don't even look like jets to me. Can anyone guess what kind of jets those are? They're actually following one of our jets coming back from Rome, Italy, the whatever meeting, bullshit meeting, and we had 199 dignitaries on board. I don't know what kind of jets those are. They don't look like F-22s. They don't look like F-35s. I don't know, but they were en route, and they followed the jet all the way home. God bless the U.S. Air Force, right? Right? I bet they all carry guns to the bar. I mean, I'm in such an area with veterans. I don't want it to be up to me. I don't want to be in a position to ever have that happen again. I'm so proud. You know, if he didn't drop the knife, guess what I was going to have to do? Guess what I was going to have to do? I was going to have to kill that motherfucker right there in front of all the children. All the children. As soon as he did, everyone was tough. And I don't blame him. I don't want to run up on anyone with a knife. But as soon as he did, man, we had people coming out of the woodwork to tackle that motherfucker. And I got a lot of hugs. A lot of people crying. It was a mixed bunch, man. Mixed bunch. Mixed shit show is what it was. So these Mexicans, and this is just a Mexican, they're going to get more and more desperate. More and more desperate as their Social Security Section 8 food stamps get called off this week and next week, which has already happened. President Trump already EO'd all that to be called off. And you know what? They're going to go nuts. They can't go to work to make a living because guess what? We just put the people in Texas that hired them in jail. We just put the people in Texas that hired them for aiding and abetting. I showed y'all that last night. We put them in jail. So what's the next move? I just want y'all to watch out, man. That's the next move.
Congressman Jordan, this issue, there's a lot there. Yeah. So let's start here. Let's start on Doge because here's part of what is going on with Elon Musk. The Washington Post says these mass firings are backfiring because they say dismissals have been so chaotic and rushed. Termination letters often listed wrong start dates, wrong jobs, or left the agency name blank as if a form letter hadn't been properly filled out. Some workers are notified their own bosses that they've been fired. Is there some wisdom in slowing down? Well, being more scalpel-like?
I think American voters like the intensity and the focus that they...
You know, the one thing I wish I would not have done is yelled you fucking spick and you fucking Mexican as many times as I had to get him drop that knife. I wish I wouldn't have done that. But I don't know if he would have dropped it if I didn't, right? Again, I just can't believe it's up to me. Everyone needs to get straight. Y'all should all have, you know what's great? Bear spray. Bear spray. Y'all should all have bear spray on you, especially the females. If any one of the people that he came in with that big knife in would have had bear spray, this would not have escalated at all. At all. I've seen what bear spray does to people.
They've seen from 30-some days of this administration going about doing the things they told the voters they were going to do, doing the things they were elected to do. What was the polling? I think I saw just recently, 70% of Americans think President Trump is doing what he said he was going to do. Imagine that. He ran for office, put your name on the ballot, he said, I'm going to go do this. And one of the things he said he was going to do was get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse and the stupid spending going on in the federal government. Instead of Democrats attacking the guy who's exposing the stupid spending, how about helping us get rid of the stupid spending? And most Americans say, yeah, that makes sense to me, particularly when they see some of the crazy things that their tax dollars were being used for. I always point to Sesame Street and Iraq, Bert and Ernie and Big Bird in Baghdad on Baghdad TV. Not really the best use of money when you look at the deficits we've been running and the debt that we've piled up.
Well, do you worry, though, that goodwill, that the American people are like, yes, I need to know what's going on with my tax dollars, and no, I'm not okay with a lot of this stuff. Federal workers haven't been the most empathetic characters for a lot of Americans, but now they're starting to hear their stories that entire offices are wiped out, people are crying, they're completely no idea how their agencies are going to run.
Shane, I grabbed this headline, National Parks in Chaos after this Washington Post story. Here's the first paragraph. California now.
I want y'all to know that 90% of the national parks are people that have volunteered to be park rangers. 90% of park rangers are volunteers.
National Park, the Trump administration fired the only locksmith on staff. Next sentence. He was fired. He was the sole employee with keys and institutional knowledge needed to rescue visitors from locked restrooms. Now, if that isn't, that's the best you can do. The real question is, how do visitors get locked in restrooms? This is how ridiculous some of this thing is. So maybe there have been some mistakes made, but I think the intensity and the focus on getting rid of the wasteful spending, the one guy who's can unlock people who somehow get locked in a restroom in a national park, this is ridiculous. So the arguments I think you're seeing from the left are pretty darn crazy when you think about, we're spending money for the crazy things of trans comic opera and wherever. Come on.
But do you worry that people, they're with you when they hear that, but then when they start to see things like Elon Musk putting out a tweet saying everyone's getting an email and you got to respond with 5 things you got done last week, copy your manager, or we're going to count, if you don't respond, we're going to count that as a resignation. That's probably not legal in the first place. But do you worry about losing the momentum?
You can name the 5 things you did last week. I was in Israel last week. I know we met with the Prime Minister. We met with some.
Make a list of what you did last week is not constitutional. Screw you, lady. You know what? Everyone should make a list of what they did last week. Accomplishments only, not shit shows. What, did you not do anything but lay on your back?
With the opposition, we met with the Speaker of the Knesset. We toured the kibbutzim where the terrible things happened in Rose, where the Bibas kids were taken and killed. We went up to the north and saw what Hezbollah. We had all kinds of. I can name 5 things I did, not to mention other things I did relative to things back here with our responsibilities as a member of Congress. So anyone can name 5. But if you're some federal worker working remote, you should be able to name those things too. So I don't think that's a big deal. But people are saying, you shouldn't do those kind of things. You can name the 5 things you were.
I can. I can't, but I'm not a federal worker, and I don't know who's going to feed through all of those responses. Maybe it's the manager who's copied. I don't know, but I wonder how many people. That's probably just another round of lawsuits because we have already got about 80 that we're tracking with regards to recent policy. I want to make sure that we get to foreign policy with you as well, though. As we're waiting for negotiations to come together on this minerals deal, you heard your colleague Congressman Himes saying it feels like some kind of mafia situation, like we're extorting people to try to get them to come to the table and agree to what we want them to agree to. Reuters has this. They say U.S. negotiators pressing Kyiv for access to Ukraine's critical minerals have raised the possibility of cutting the country's access to Elon Musk's vital Starlink satellite system. They go on to say It provides crucial internet connectivity to war-torn Ukraine and its military. Is that something that we should be threatening?
Well, look, I don't know if that's the case. What I do know is President Trump has been clear.
Real quick. I don't know how many people are watching, but could y'all make bullet point of 5 things y'all did last week? 5 things you did last week. Just 5. That's all Elon Musk wanted. But guess what? Even Trump's letting them bite back. Even the FBI, the DOD, even the Department of State Department, that's Rubio. How can it take you 2 weeks to make a list of something you did 2 weeks ago? It's ridiculous.
He wants to end the war. He wants to stop the killing. President Trump has, I think, a unique way of negotiating, and it's a way that typically gets results. And you can look at the situation with Canada and Mexico and what he threatened, and then how they suddenly decided, whoa, Shazam, we're going to help you with securing the border. You can look at Israel in his first term. He campaigned on putting the embassy in Jerusalem. And when he gets in office, all the people at the State Department, I think they're smarter than you and I and all the people across this country, all those people at the State Department said, President, you really shouldn't do that. Because that's what every other president had done when they had campaigned on. President Trump said, I told the American people I was going to do it. We're going to do it, and he did. And I would argue that laid the foundation for the Abraham Accords and all he got accomplished with Israel and in the Middle East. So I think he doesn't always operate in the most conventional way when it comes to negotiating, but the results speak for themselves. And he understands the billions of dollars taxpayers have given.
That would have been their Dark V. That would have been their only list because they didn't do shit. Why do they need an extra week to tell us what they did 2 weeks ago? If y'all really think about it, it's ridiculous. We're going to need an extra week to tell you what we did 2 weeks ago, please.
Given to Ukraine. And by the way, what's the goal been? What was our objective all along? Was it to get them out of the eastern, drive Russia out of the eastern region of Ukraine? Was it to get back Crimea? Do you know how long Russia's had Crimea? 11 years ago, next month it'll be 11 years that they took it under Obama. Well, is that the goal? No one could ever define the goal, but money just kept flowing. And President Trump says this has to end, and he's working on doing that and doing it in a way that I think is beneficial to Ukraine and certainly beneficial to the American taxpayer.
Okay, a quick question on money flowing, but here domestically, because you guys got to get together on this budget deal.
Yeah.
The New York Times reports on the House version, the budget that Speaker Johnson has negotiated for the next decade calls for around $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid. That's in an effort to counterbalance a portion of the tax cuts. That scares people when they hear that. Where do we get?
So she's confusing y'all. Medicaid is not Medicare. Anyone that qualifies that's a certain age is on Medicare. Medicaid is something that is taken, free healthcare taken by people that refuse to work. And I will say there's a lot of people that can't work that are caught up in there. What we need to do is refine that system because it's draining the taxpayer as usual. And I know most of y'all don't have health care unless y'all are on the system or in the system. This little piece of crap, actually, he was released from prison in Chicago after a killing, and he had deportation orders in place, and the ICE just wanted to pick him up. I think that everyone that was involved with releasing this man, I think they should go to prison. Let's start. We gotta see someone go to prison. We just can't keep playing this stupid game. Stupid game, stupid prizes, right? Look, who would have ever elected someone like this? I mean, excuse me, as your senator, but do what you do, right? Minnesota, happy days, right? She's a complete nut. A complete nutbag. I was seeing if there was a video. Just read the Minnesota Democratic Senator Tina Smith goes on a vulgar tirade against Elon Musk after he asked for federal workers what they do all day, what they did. That's illegal. We got real problems if we can't inquire as to what you did last week. I mean, he only asked for 5 bullet points, and in the memo, give me 5 bullet points, your best accomplishments of last week. That was it. That was it. The problem is they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. Oh, bye. When's your final episode? You bald-headed nut job. MSNBC cancels Wacko Joy Reid show. And y'all can thank me. Y'all can thank me because I send everything I do to MSNBC's head honcho personally. What a freak show. First off, final episode. I mean, should we all tune in? It'll happen this week. I just am so proud of what this administration has accomplished. I can't believe it took this long to get a freak job, a freak show, out of a TV show, right? Here we go. She's gonna be mad. She's pointing at her racial, all about racism. If she didn't have a race card, she wouldn't have a card at all in her deck, right? No race card. I just want to say this again. Ha ha! Ha ha! You should start crying. No, she won't say anything. She just got canceled. The worst thing about it is they've been paying her $20 million a year for like 20 years. So the witch has like $100 million in the bank account. She can give a shit. She lied, she didn't steal. Right? And that's what all Democrats seem to do. Alright, let's leave it to Pam Bondi to say how it really is. Bondi, what do you have to say for yourself?
When they say they're tough and they have grit, really, they're protecting illegal aliens over American citizens? Not going to happen under Donald Trump's administration. We will find illegal aliens and we will deport them in Illinois, in New York, and in other states. And you better comply with federal law or you're going to be next. We've spoken loud.
Now we saw them act yesterday. They put aiding and abetting 30 to life on Texas people. And we've got hundreds, I won't say hundreds of millions, but we've got tens of millions of illegal aliens right here, right where I live. And I want to join up and take them out. I do. Right? Now that I love the fact the actual employers are finally being charged with aiding and abetting.
And clear, we are sick and tired of Americans being murdered and these states protecting illegal aliens.
All right, Bartiromo, up next.
Advisor of the United States, Michael Waltz. Sir, great to see you, Michael. Thanks very much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. And just to build on both Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Witkoff's comments there, what you're seeing under President Trump's leadership in just under a month is bringing multiple wars to an end. He is a president.
Is that right?
And on the Ukraine-Russia side, you're seeing, number one, a reformulation of how the United States provides aid, a partnership with Ukraine economically and their critical minerals, and really reformulating that.
You know what? if Zelensky did not step down, we would have had him taken out. It was that simple. They probably told him that, okay? We don't fuck around anymore, okay? They probably said, you have about 2 hours to decide. Then we'll start taking everyone down around you and then you. You know, it's not that Kiev has an Iron Dome around it, although the Iron Dome didn't work that well, did it? It's that Putin was playing with the big gloves, the 15-ounce boxing gloves on. Putin didn't want to hurt Kiev because there's churches that are 3,000 years old there, Catholic churches. Isn't Putin a Catholic? Y'all tell me. Isn't he a Catholic?
So that the American people can see a return on this massive investment they've made. That's one. Number two, we go to a ceasefire. Number three, we reformulate how the United States deals with Russia. We saw that first step with President Trump talking to both Putin and Zelensky. And then...
Darth, give your mom her phone back. I can send one battleship and probably take over all of Mexico with one battleship. I.e., one battleship. I'm not talking about Navy. I'm talking about an airship, an Apache. So whatever fantasy you have in your life, it's wrong. Once we decide it's over, it's over. I send 100 Apaches into Mexico with already predetermined targets. Guess what? No one lives and no one comes out of that motherfucker. Okay? We could actually take the whole country if there was any oil there, and I think there is. Tomorrow might be a good day, right? They all wanted to move up here, right? Let me just say, take the whole fucking country down. In my opinion, it would be a one-day operation, just like Putin. Y'all think that Putin was really at war with Ukraine? That was a show. You think that Putin's really going to let Ukraine meet in their cabinet members' gold-spec offices for 3 or 4 years or 2 years and not bomb them or hit them while they're in there? I mean, we got some really dumb people.
The further engagement in Riyadh, and then number 4, engagement with our European allies, as you see the president of...
We are taking it back. He just shook a hand. I'll show you in a bit. He says, not only do we want to give you your $250,000 back, we want to pay you billion back. We want to pay you $500 billion with interest. I said, well, someone talked to him. That what they said is 2 words. Do you want to keep these houses? Do you want to stay alive? What are you, being a jackass? We put you in power, and it's much easier to take you out of power than it is to get you into power. Much easier.
France and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom coming to Washington this week, and we welcome their ideas for security guarantees and European leadership to take care of Europe's security going forward. All of that is happening at the same time that we're getting our hostages out of the Middle East. Steve Witkoff leading that effort.
I'll tell you, most Ukrainians don't want war. Most Russians don't want war. And most of the people in the East, Donetsk region and Crimea, they begged to go back to Russia as soon as the U.S. overtook them in the Orange Revolution run by Norm Eisen and the DOD. That's how they feel. They never want to be a part of the U.S. And yes, right now, they're a part of the U.S., if you can't tell.
And by the way, we must see the destruction of Hamas and Iran staying on its back foot, for which all options are on the table. 1 month, Maria, under President Trump's leadership, and I haven't even gotten to the border, the cartels, deportation, and everything else that's going on.
You're right. You're doing an incredible job. The administration handling so much at one time. I want to go back to Israel in a moment. But you mentioned European leaders, and I know that many of them were also unnerved by President Trump calling Zelensky a dictator. The Wall Street Journal this morning writes a U.S. president's pivot to Russia. We all can agree that nobody wants to see a bully win and win more territory. Can you acknowledge that Russia is
Putin's Russia's not the bully. We pulled a caloric revolution with Norm Eisen and that Janowski lady, and we stole or tried to steal those natural resources. The Lindsey Graham let it slip. The $12.5 trillion in natural gas in the eastern part. No one really cares about Kiev. No one really cares about any of that shit. But now the U.S. put their clamps on the rare earth, the natural gas and oil in the western part. You know what? All they did was dig themselves a deeper hole. If you deal with people like the U.S. and Russia, get ready.
the aggressor here?
Well, you know what? Who would you rather having go toe-to-toe with the likes of Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, Xi, or anyone else? Joe Biden or Donald Trump? He's the deal maker in chief. He's the commander in chief, and it's only because of his strength that we're even in this position. And President Trump's own words have been that Russia invaded a neighbor under Bush, under Obama, and under Biden, but not him. It didn't happen his first term, and he's going to bring it to an end his second term. And I just laid out the framework to do that. That we are all. He has a great team around him that everybody is moving out on simultaneously, from our Secretary of Treasury to our Secretary of State to our Secretary of Defense, and of course our Special Envoy. And that's what's going on. And you know, people are welcome to bring better ideas, but
Game over.
Perpetuate more war. And that is, no one should be surprised that that's not what President Trump campaigned on or intends to do.
Well, look, let me move on to the conflict on Israel. And of course, we've been watching this week these atrocious moves by Hamas, celebrating dead hostages. We've got to get your take on this, because at some point, doesn't the civilized world say enough is enough? We cannot go on like this with 3 hostages released here, 3 hostages dead released here. We don't know whose body it is. Are you expecting to enter what is called phase 2 in this negotiation? Can you even continue to negotiate with Hamas if you're supportive of Israel?
Well, I'll tell you, number one, we are working with our partners, both the Egyptians and the Qataris, to get...
Let me just answer that for everybody. Hamas, they're no one that negotiates. They'll make a deal with you, but it's always going to be backtracked, backclawed. They're pieces of trash. Most Islamic countries have this caliphate that believes that they can lie, cheat, and steal to get anything they want. Who elected this crazy Patty Murray, U.S. Senate? What? Washington State? I hate Washington State. Sorry, Dr. Joey.
You can agree or disagree about federal spending. Goodness knows, we have a lot of debates on it here. But it is a complete lie to try and say this is all fraud, waste, or conspiracy. As a longtime appropriator, I can tell you, we debate these bills publicly. We post the details out in the open. We passed them in a bipartisan way. Republicans overwhelmingly supported the individual bills we put together in committee last year, many unanimously. Spending is not a conspiracy just because Elon Musk doesn't know how to read a usaspending.gov. A program.
We don't want to do sex changes for people in Gwanda, okay? Now, maybe you're such a fucking screwball. You don't understand how U.S. tax dollars need to be spent. But, I mean, the people of Washington are a bunch of screwballs, too. Case in point, right? Case in point. A little bit tired of it. Look at you. We got.
Make your own dinner, Racket. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Troll amongst yourself with Elon and leave us alone. We don't want to put up with your trolling while we eat our tofurkey. Get it.
Canceled. Bye, Joy. Canceled. I mean, I just can't be more happier than I am now. Guess who else is canceled? Your other favorite show, ladies. The View. The View. They got their cancellation papers as well today.
Go for it. Stop acting like we owe you, and for God's sakes, stop whining. It's embarrassing. Make your own dinner, Racket. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears.
You ain't doing shit. You ain't doing shit. Someone's now on my computer like... It's not like we're not going to win, so just get used to losing. Here we are. Here we are.
Texans from all walks of life are ready to vote on destination resorts.
It would definitely bring better paying jobs here.
Introducing the Ungun, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight and simple to use. It uses an easy...
Don't spend that Doge dividend quite yet. I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. Doge, they say they're about to show us the money. The Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, is claiming to have saved taxpayers approximately $55 billion through various cost-cutting measures. They're breaking down how they claim they're doing it on the department's website. For example, just yesterday, Doge published its latest cost-cutting measure. They say that it resulted in a value of up to $235 million in savings. It's also pointing out wasteful spending with posts like this, showing how taxpayers spent over $20 million on a boarded-up building over the course of 20 years. There's also a wall of receipts listing savings on the website detailing canceled contracts and terminated leases as part of the department's, they say, transparency initiative. And now there's a new potential layer to these Doge savings that's gaining steam across social media to give us some of that money back. It's called the Doge dividend, and it was explained in a 4-page plan that was introduced this week on X, breaking down how every taxpayer would get a $5,000 tax refund check funded exclusively with a portion of the total savings delivered by Doge.
I believe that will happen.
So long as Musk's goal of $2 trillion in federal savings is met. The tweet was from an investor and CEO, James...
Darlene, what are you talking about? It wasn't from me, sweetie. It was some kind of, either you typed that in wrong, it wasn't from me, sweetie, because I feel the opposite for you, obviously. Someone must have hacked my system and said that, right? No. If your allegiance is to one of these groups, you think that my disapproval of them reflects on you, well, that's on you. But Darlene, you're one of our favorite subscribers and viewers, okay? So never think that I wrote anything like that. That's goofy.
Fishback, who's been a guest at Mar-a-Lago and has ties to both Trump and former Doge official Vivek Ramaswamy. Well, the idea grabbed Elon Musk's attention, who replied he checked with the president. It appears that he did because one day later, President Trump expressed interest in this proposal.
There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt because the numbers are incredible.
So with attention comes scrutiny. With Doge, the accuracy of its reported savings being called into question. For instance, an initial claim of saving $8 billion by canceling a single Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE contract was later revised to $8 million after discovering a clerical error. And that's not all. Critics are calling Musk out for the haphazard way that he's approaching cost cutting. There's the firings, then rehirings across agencies, questions about transparency.
I'm really worried about Darlene. She's one of our best subscribers, and you must be hearing something that I don't hear or something like that. Now, if you're Hispanic, I don't hate you. I lived in Mexico and dated a Hispanic woman. I hate people coming here illegally. Get it right. Get it right.
Conflicts of interest, the true dollar amount of these savings being questioned, and the long-term impact of the overhaul. Well, who better to answer some of these questions than James Fishback, the CEO of Azoria, the originator of the Doge dividend. James?
Yes, Darlene, my best friend, Dr. Joey, lives in Washington State, and I'm guessing you live in one of the conservative parts of Washington State. So when I speak, did you vote for? If you voted for, you're part of the problem, okay? Let me just leave it there. I love you to death, but if you voted for that lady, you're part of the problem. If you don't see that, I can't explain it to you any simpler. Any simpler. It can't get any remedial. Más remedial para tú. More remedial for you, right? You're right. Washington State, Massachusetts, California, Oregon, these states have a lot of problems. And I don't know if the people are voting for these rulers is what they are, rulers, or if it's the machines, okay? So don't ever put words in my mouth, please. My beef is not with you, ever. It's with the far left politics of Washington State.
James, thank you for being here. How did this all come to pass?
Well, good morning, Michael. To tell you the truth, it came to me in a dream. I woke up, I called our head of research at Azoria, we met at Capitol Grill, we fleshed this thing out in 2 hours, and I'm honored that the president has endorsed it. This is a real plan to send the savings that Doge generates over the next couple of years right back into the pockets of hardworking Americans all across this country. They deserve it. It was their money in the first place, and they need a break.
Okay, I'm all for ridding the government of waste, fraud, and abuse. But at some level, isn't it all illusory? In other words, if there's a quote-unquote savings made by Elon Musk and Doge, we're still $36 trillion in debt. So there's no pie to cut up. There's no slice of the pizza that I can hand back to you unless we continue to borrow those funds.
Our plan's really simple. Over the next couple...
Not if 80% of the money they're clawing back goes to clawing down the deficit. I know you're not that bright, but this is CNN, right? It's CNN, so you have to deal with what it is. Hey, this guy looks straight to me, right?
We need to also teach white people Ubuntu. It's not in their nature. We need to teach them. We can't say, guys, Ubuntu, come on. Don't you get it? No, they don't get it. They will never get it. They're not the same level of human beings we are. So we need to start treating them like infants. When you see an Elon Musk, you see the richest man in the world. No, you should look at him and say, this is the richest baby in the world. You understand? And siyafulega as black people. Like, seriously, siyafulega. And that's what leaving us behind. We're better than white people at everything that we do, that they do. Every single thing, every single thing. The best person in every single thing that both black people and white do is black. Everything, every single thing. You understand what I'm saying? We need to also teach white people Ubuntu. It's not in their nature. We need to teach them. We can't.
I'd like to teach him something for about 10 minutes back in the alley. Look, here's another one of them. She's for Somalia, not the U.S. 33 seconds, but somehow it's not treason if she says it. Now, if me or Tip or anyone else said it, it'd be treason. Be treason.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get?
You're the dumb one. You're from Somalia.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have.
Hey, why don't you go back home to Somalia and leave us the fuck alone? Can you do that for us? Because I think it would make everyone happy. You, us, them, and Darlene, don't ever put something like that in the chat again. All right? I never ate an American. Never ate an American. But there are certain groups and cities that just don't believe in the Constitution. And that's what I try to call out. And what's really weird is Boston, Massachusetts. It's probably the Massachusetts. Probably the worst of the worst, right?
Have an intellectual debate with any of these people, because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
How else are you elected? You don't even care about the U.S. Now you're a U.S. representative? Get her the piss out of there now. So tired of y'all's lazy bullshit crap, right? Can y'all believe that 160,000 bureaucrats are multimillionaires? They're not even elected. It's 155 during 34, September 2024. Multi-millionaires. They work for the government. They were never elected, never put in place by anyone, never appointed for anything, but we have that many millionaires. And they say working for President Trump. Well, let's clean this shit up. Can we get a list? Because I can clean up about 24 hours. Clean it up.
An historic win. They are the first all-black women's team to win the Cross-Examination Debate Association's national championship. This morning we have two of the team members here. We have Amina Ruffin and Corey Johnson, both here to talk about the major bit.
Now, I want to say this is a parody, just so YouTube can figure it out. But this is how ridiculous this has gotten, okay? This is how ridiculous this has gotten. I've got to show a parody so anyone can wake their asses up. Parody. And if we go back and look at this, and you'll be dealing with my Attorney General in Texas and Pam Bondi, I'm in constant contact with now. It's not the same old Google and YouTube. It's different now. It's different, or I wouldn't play this.
Victory, ladies, way to go! Congratulations! You've made so many people proud in this area. Now we want to pick your brain a little bit as we admire your huge trophy, by the way. That's ridiculous. But I'm going to ask you first. We'll start with you, Amina. What was the topic, first of all?
The topic was restricting presidential war powers authority.
They said the niggas always already queer. That's exactly the point. It means that the impact is not, that is an impact turn to the affirmative. That it is a case turn to the affirmative because we are saying that queer bodies are not able to survive. It necessarily means that the body of the nigga is not able to survive.
We got the topic in about July when we started doing our research then.
He can only envision himself that he does not see another nigga that he can feel sympathy for or embrace, but rather that otherness gets obliterated.
And we've been supplementing our research throughout the season.
Out there disfigured lynching trauma, inside the trauma representation of that to the black child is devouring and identified with the stories and images of white culture brought up to think and act subjectively like a white man, the black man.
Is she eating chicken and drinking Pepsi?
So where do you go from there? You know, when you start preparing for a national competition, once you know the topic, what's next?
Well, you do have a lot of research.
The way they're doing it. Towson University's debate team wins, claiming an historic win. They are the first all-black.
The game's over. Everyone knows the game is over. The game belongs to the truth. I want y'all to watch this. The game belongs to the truth. And all you people that took, whatever you took, I didn't take nothing. Right? For some reason, it self-assembles. And guess what the best breakdown is? Eggs. That's where eggs are $1 in Mexico, and they have trillions of them. And here they're like $7,000 for 12. Right? Right? Look. This is the real deal. The clot. They know I know. Alright, this guy's impressive. We're gonna do it slow-mo. I mean, that would not be my first move. Look at the bull. He's like, wait, I want to kill that mofo. Right? I want to kill that mofo. Let's watch him one more time. Look at the timing. Oh! The bull's like, well, I should have felt impact. I've killed some people before. But it just didn't happen, did it? Yep, Joy. Someone is letting her on tonight. It's her last few days on MSNBC. Are y'all starting to feel bad? Joy Reid has been fired. Turns out calling you a political opponent racist, Nazi, every hour does not get viewers? I mean, I thought she was just packed with viewers. I feel like a political Nazi.
To begin our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the Black...
But wait, who just got fired? Who just got fired?
Majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
Fiction era. Try again, Tiffany. And you didn't even have to say it. You know I was pissed off. Someone else said it for you. But hey, try to behave if you can. I can't believe Joy Behar is gone. I mean, that is worth giving Tiffany 40 riches back. 40 of them! If I had 40 riches, I'd give them back. I gave you one back. That's all I got. Alright, Byron Donalds.
This is the kind of stuff. They're so upset about Elon Musk and the Dogecoin having access to the Internal Revenue Service data and to the Treasury payment system. But there's a report that came out the other day that under Joe Biden, he let 53 researchers and students, unpaid people, go in and actually have full access to the data of the American people at the IRS. Joe Biden's administration let that happen. So they have no problem with the waste and the fraud and the abuse as long as their special interest groups are being funded and their ideology is being promoted regardless of the will of the American people.
Boo, boo, boo. All right, we'll keep going, guys. So all we know is the truth. What's her truth? Everyone has their own truth, and we need to realize that, I guess. Her truth.
So just an update in terms of immigration, and I think that this is important for everyone to consider. So this morning I came into the office and my staff, they were just kind of like, Sheree, guess what happened? One of our clients got detained by ICE this morning on his way to check in with ICE, meaning that he was under supervision of ICE and he has his social security card and his EAD. And so he went in, doing the right thing, and ICE detains him. Now he's detained in Florence Immigration Processing Center. And this is so uncommon because it's not like he was out there without any social or
give me 24 to think about
under
it.
temporary protected status. So this message is basically for anyone who even feels like they're safe with that and they're checking in. Be very, very careful because it might happen. So just an update in terms of immigration, and I think that
All right, let's keep going. We haven't learned anything tonight. Is that AOC? Is that really AOC? Look how mad she is tonight. What does her shirt say? Tax the rich. And she doesn't even know enough about, and you always think, oh God, James is doing this wrong, that wrong. Doesn't even know how to get her video recorder to show the right deal, okay?
Shout out to my fellow radicals in the United States who believe crazy things like a full-time job should be enough for you to live, and also, believe in crazy radical things like...
Wait, you've never had a full-time job before this, and this is far from full-time. You lost $290,000 of your parents' money after they paid $400,000 for college so you could start a coffee shop. How'd that work out? Huh? Tell me.
Like, if you kill someone, there shouldn't be impunity, and also who believe really crazy radical things like you should get a stimulus check without having to bail out a corporation for it, or that you should get a stimulus check without your employer, if you work for one of these huge conglomerate employers, sending you into harm's way and being completely immune from any accountability for that. Shout out to my fellow radicals who...
Gosh, I would never give her an OnlyFans model. I mean, they're a bunch of ugly girls making millions on OnlyFans, but I call her Jenny from the block. She's nothing but hate, all bunched up in one. Remember when she said that her $174,000 was not enough to buy her one-bedroom condo? Do y'all remember the many times she sat there and drank in front of us as she told us how she thought it should be?
Think that, we should live in a humane, advanced society. And that we shouldn't be under the thumb of a $7 minimum wage and, racist systems, because...
She's trying to figure out if those sirens are coming from her. Does anyone but me see the cross behind her? Does anyone but me see the cross behind her? It's nothing I've done.
I don't know, because that just benefits whoever the people are in power to already be in power. So, shout out to my radicals who think that maybe one way that we can deal with a lot of the shortfall that we have is to do things like legalize marijuana and tax the commerce on that so that we can fund our schools. Or, tax the rich. Maybe we can tax the rich so that people who have helipads on their house or near their house can help chip in for black school districts that are perpetually underfunded. How about we do that?
How about we do that? And Tiff, kind of like your last warning. All right, Doge. You're fired for not taking the vaccine, and they're all happy. Look, they're all happy with pitchforks. You're fired for not doing your job. Well, wait, not even telling us what your job is. You refuse to put it on paper? How does that work? That's the one thing I want to know. How in the fuck does that work? Right?
A massive mistake that you need to know about. 5 months ago, the U.S. Census Bureau came out and they admitted to miscounting the populations in 14 different states. Now, you might be asking yourself...
So I want to tell y'all, of course, they gave bigger populations to every blue state in America to give more wherewithal in the election. Every blue state, every red state got a screwed up.
Why didn't the media cover this? Well, let's take a look at the states. The Census Bureau admitted to overcounting Hawaii, Delaware, Rhode Island, Minnesota, New York, and Massachusetts, while at the same time they admitted to undercounting Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, as well as Illinois. Isn't that interesting? All of the overcounted states voted blue in 2020, while 5 out of the 6 undercounted states voted red. And this has massive implications because the census determines how many seats in Congress a state gets, as well as how many electoral votes they get. Meaning that if this mistake wasn't made, it's entirely possible that states like Texas would have gained an extra seat, while states like New York would have lost an extra seat. However, despite the Bureau having officially admitted their mistake, well, there's nothing that can be done right now, short of a Supreme Court challenge. Do you think this was truly done by mistake? Leave your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more. A massive mistake that you need to know about. 5 months ago, the U.S. Census Bureau
Alright, we're going to call George Coggins the criminal that should have never been allowed out. I'm kidding, George. The criminal's criminal. From Scranton. Anyone from Scranton, Pennsylvania? I mean, you start out as a criminal. Where do you go? Look, that is not a massage that she's giving her. Not a massage. Hey Siri, call George.
Calling George Coggins.
The subscriber you have dialed is not in service.
Alright, George. You're gonna have to call me, bro. I tried. If Scranton, PA. Hold on. James Kaufman, World News Report today. Who am I speaking with?
As George Coggins, and I already gave you permission perpetually to put me on, so.
I remember. I love it.
You called the old number, didn't you?
I don't know. It's Siri.
Yeah, exactly. Valid point.
It's Siri. Hey, great to hear from you again. Do you have any new enlightening things to tell us?
Apparently the Pope is experiencing the early onset of kidney failure, and things aren't looking too hopeful in that regard for him, so there's that.
Well, I don't think he'll even make it through tomorrow. Pneumonia in both lungs, on life support, and a lot of other things going wrong with the Pope. So, and
timing up interestingly.
well, and you know what? He says that because he, like me, reads the Bible. There's going to be a last Pope, and it's just as Israel gets surrounded. And what happened? Israel just got surrounded by Egypt and Turkey and Syria and
That exact parts in the Bible, that might have been something that happened through one of the visions somebody had that they approved over all the years, but I do recall that. And not only that, but if you read Daniel, I believe it's 11:45, it says that the Antichrist will set up his tents or tabernacle in between the sea and the holy mountain, which is Gaza.
all right. So, and then all of a sudden, the U.S. wants to take Gaza. What the fuck do we want to take Gaza for, man?
Donald Trump specifically, the tribe of Dan, he's doing his job like he's supposed to, so,
Right? The Pope has always been not the real Pope. Vigilante gave, his speech was so long that he gave yesterday, guys. I actually did not cover it. It was over 30 or 40 minutes long. So usually I would even take my AI and cover the speech. Now he's been excommunicated, but only because he was telling the truth, right? So it's a shit show. It's a complete shit show.
I'm a devout Catholic and I remain as such, but the state of the church right now is pretty much that summed up, it seems, so I'm not going to argue with that.
You probably like Vigiano, or I'm probably saying it wrong.
I have no taste for the man.
You don't like him either?
No, he's judging the office by the sinners that are manning it, which is, what most people do. They're like, oh, this is bad. They're judging it by the people, and they're not judging it by the divine office of authority, which ranks all of that. It's like judging music based on the people that are creating it. It doesn't make any sense. But a lot of people are still infantile in their understanding of that, so,
Well, you know what? He was only discommunicated because he was being straight up. Yeah. In my opinion, he was trying to teach us.
There's better ways to go about doing these things.
I'm sure. So, George, I always want to call you and get your thoughts of the day. And I want to make sure Alex okay.
Oh, yeah. It was like 40 degrees out today.
Is that cold or is that warm? From where I'm from, you don't know.
Well, typically it's like 15 degrees out. So, yeah, I'd say it was pretty warm. At least this time of year.
Right. Well understood. Give us your words of wisdom for the day.
I honestly don't know if I have any right now. I'm drawing a blank for some reason.
It's all right. It happens.
Okay. I would say that the greatest sins I have noticed personally within our culture and society and times are superficiality, ignorance, and misbelief, or believing stuff that doesn't make sense when you actually look into it deeper beyond a superficial preference.
Well, a lot of people are so busy trying to pay their taxes, trying to pay their bullshit, they don't have time to look into anything.
If they were busy living their life for God, that wouldn't be such an issue for them now, would it?
Well, I agree with you, but you have extraordinary consequences that allow you to have an income where a lot of people, like me, for instance, if I don't make money,
be surprised what can change in that direction depending on where you put your life.
if I don't make money, I owe to my wife and I have to pay my ex.
Going with the works before faith instead of having works rooted in faith first, because when you have faith, good works just appear. You just have to take hold of the opportunity when they come.
Much agreed.
I can count at this point with myself and others, so there's no one that can argue with me on that thing.
Well, much agreed. Much agreed.
Aside from all that, I don't know, love thy neighbor and pray for thy enemy.
It's hard to pray for your enemy, isn't it?
Well, it's a good way to practice that right now is pray for the Pope. He's in a lot of suffering at the moment, and regardless of our feelings on him, Christ calls upon us to love thy neighbor as well as thy enemy, and to do what we can for him. So, your prayer.
But he's your enemy.
Not my enemy.
Well, if you're a Christian, he is.
I'm a devout Catholic. I'm all with him.
Right. If you're a Catholic, that Pope, that Pope is all behind
the headlines they've made and what he's actually said when you read deeper into it. So
LGBT.
All the slanderous stuff about the Catholic Church for the past 2 years, I've been returning to it, and when I've gone in person and I've done my own research, and I've done that quite extensively and thoroughly, it seems to contradict what everybody who believes what they see on the internet says. So I'm going with the experiences I've had here.
Well, I think always go with your personal experiences, but I will say that
Some very weird and very powerful ones apparently recently.
well,
I literally had Christ appear to me through a priest in a confessional at a Catholic church. That was the last place I ever expected such.
that must have been a little bit scary.
No, it was. It startled me at first. I was terrified, and then all of a sudden an abundance of love and compassion overwhelmed me, and then I'm looking at this 81-year-old old guy that's big bald head and liver spots, and all of a sudden he's gorgeous and he's got these waves of energy radiating off him, and it was just a wonderful experience. And there was a couple things after that, but that happened on November 24th.
Well, I did pull it up tonight, and they take things off they don't like. Tracy Abrams was $900,000 in debt 2 years ago. Now she has $15 million in the bank. Now I know she's part of the NWO, right? But that's a little bit ridiculous.
I can't say who isn't a part of it, but I can say who appears like they likely are or likely are not a part of it. That's something I can say. And she definitely appears as such.
Well, you could probably, I know
Say without evidence.
she was on their planning committee. I did a video on it. And you know what? none of us have lived our best lives, but a lot of us, especially, you know what? It's on and off, and even with you, George, even with you, right?
Life has an ebb and flow to it. Things go up, things go down, things,
Right.
Things excite. It's just the way of things. Constant flux, changing, but still, parts of it remain the same.
Well, I like it. I like it.
Well, think about it. The way that it changes is we're in America right now, but if you look at it, we're still in Babylon. Stayed the same, but it changed, at least in appearance and technology and such.
And I do hear that. What do you think? I'm going to ask you a weird question about flat Earth.
Okay. I would say that the Earth is flat until you zoom out. It's all about dimensional perspective and how you're looking at it and where you're looking at it from and how many different angles you're looking at it from. You can go in even higher dimensional proportions if you know how to put it into words.
I'm showing something on the screen right now. This is okay. Well, this was built 3000 BC. It's called. They say it was built with a hammer and chisel by 20 dudes and donkeys, but it's the most magnificent place that I've ever seen in my life.
What's it called?
Actually, I showed this the other night. It was called. Can anyone help me out here?
I'm walking back inside, so I got a couple rooms and staircase to traverse, and then I'll take a look.
And the intricacy, and there's 4, and really, some of them say it could be 5,000 years old. That's what makes it. Huh?
Where is it at? Over in India or over in Turkey?
It's gonna be Greece, I'm sure. Rome, Greece. I'm looking. Look at that stuff.
That's like the 1500s that was built in.
So this is one of the most famous that they can't explain how they built it. They can't. They look at the tops, and they said these are to collect electricity. See all those? And they do look like electricity. Well,
is that Rosslyn Chapel?
I think it is. I think it is.
I think it's in Scotland or the UK somewhere. That place is interesting, to say the least.
Let's see if someone names it. Your ancestors could fake more skills than you'll ever know. It's a cathedral. It's not 100 years old. It's over 3,000 years old. And I just want to know if anyone knew about this. They said it was built with chisels. I mean, to me, and look how the water perfectly goes down.
Well, there is a group of people out there who are under the school of thought that it was built by the Knights Templar as well, but I don't know what the evidence is to that.
Well, shit, I think the Knight Templar is a little late. See these electronic things, or, well, whatever they are, and then look, all the water from all 4 of the things, it ends up right there in the pond. I mean, right in the pond, and nothing's ever happened. You would think that water would eat away at the structure over the years, and this is the one that gets me the most, because they estimate the age at 3,000 years old, and they said it could be 5,000 years old. So this one gets me, guys. This one gets me.
I'm more of a realist when it comes to these things these days.
I hear that. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. George, lots of love to you, man.
Yeah, much love, James. God bless.
God bless you, sir.